That's a man.
Peyton Manning stepping out.
It's the Zion Show. Pass is caught by Joe. Carolina, it's the Clemson Tigers on homecoming, hosting the North Carolina Tar Heels. Hi, everybody, along with Doc Walker, Jack Horgan. Glad you could join us for what becomes an increasingly important ball game with bowl implications because of Virginia's win over Florida State on Thursday night.
Well, floodgates are open now. No excuses. Both clubs now have a chance to control their own destiny.
For the success of either team this afternoon, it usually is the quarterback. It seems particularly so here this afternoon. First of all, for the North Carolina Tar Heels, senior quarterback Mike Thomas. If he plays under control, the Tar Heels can roll.
He's just got to get those interceptions out of his memory bank. Go back to the bye week. They had a chance to get back to basics, and if he's on, they can roll.
There's Mike Thomas warming up before the ball game. The bye week, as Doc said, a big factor in what he hopes will be a chance to recharge for a 4-week stretch drive for the Tar Heels. For Clemson, they've been playing great lately, and their sophomore quarterback, Nealon Green, has been outstanding in terms of elevation of his game.
Man, Mr. Excitement, we heard so much about the skills. Now he's putting it together, hitting the open receivers, directing that offense, and with the backs in his backfield, boy, if he's straight, they could be awesome.
Well, for the Clemson Tigers, Nealon Green and company, they want to improve their home record. They're 1-3 at home, 4-0 on the road, but a big homecoming crowd that they hope will be a factor here this afternoon. Started off with the run down the hill. Mike Hogwood is at the top of the hill right now.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the emotion up here, Jack. These players are all getting a touch of Howard's Rock. You know the history of it is they come on by, guys. That's all right. As you know, they used to have to come this way from the dressing room. Here they go. There it is. The cannon is fired. The team is good. Hey, Doc, you want to get fired up for this game? Come on. I'm going to rub the rock, too. I got the rock. Let's go, guys. Hey, here we go. Woo. I just hope I don't fall. Lord have mercy. All right. We're fired up. It's going to be a big one. We got the kickoff, Clemson and Carolina.
Caparelli with a squib kick. Wyatt at his 10. Antoine Wyatt over the 30 and out to the 36-yard line. Good field position for the Clemson Tigers, wearing their all-orange uniforms, 28-6 in their career when they're dressed totally in orange. Nealon Green, the sophomore quarterback from Yonkers, New York, coming off an outstanding ball game against Georgia Tech a week ago. Had a good game in the upset of North Carolina last season at Chapel Hill. Clemson with their familiar I formation with Smith ahead of Priester in the I. And Green will throw it on first down. Gets it out on the side to Joe Woods, and Woods gets good yardage out to the 43-yard line where Omar Brown knocks him down. Here's a look at our Carolina Jeep Eagles starting lineups. First of all, for the Clemson offense, we told you about the backfield set. Wyatt and Horn will be the starting wideouts. Lamont Hall, the blocking tight end. Good offensive line. Trevor Putnam's had a good year, and Will Young was the offensive lineman of the week in the conference against Georgia Tech.
Good ones.
Second down, let's call it about 3. Green again, the quick toss to Antoine Wyatt, and Clemson has a first down. James Hamilton on the stop for North Carolina. Surprising but effective start for Clemson against a very good North Carolina defense, allowing less than 230 yards a game. Marcus Jones, the All-American, heads the front line. Kavusuma Mays, the #2 tackler in the conference, heads up the linebacking core. Fuzzy Lee, Omar Brown have had great seasons for the Carolina secondary. 1st and 10 Tigers out near midfield. Play action fake to Priester. Green going for it all downfield. Tony Horn is double covered. Tommy West surprising everybody with 3 passes, Doc Walker, in the first 3 plays.
Well, he surprised me as well. And, you know, you're trying to break keys, and you're trying to catch North Carolina coming off this bye, maybe a little tense. And, again, you look at the lack of victories here for Clemson at Death Valley, and I think they're just trying to get the emotions going in their way.
Russell Davis getting to Nealon Green just as he released the ball. Good coverage downfield by the North Carolina secondary against Tony Horn. Green on the option. Priester trying to turn the corner. Omar Brown turned him inside, and Mike Pringley rode him to the turf. But he gets it into North Carolina territory, setting up a 3rd and medium.
Now this is what we expected to see a little more of. You got to give Brown a lot of credit. The way you play the option means so much. Now watch coming up in your screen. You get the toss. See, that's a good feel. Good force that keeps it back inside. Carolina was there in a big way.
Mack Brown is 8th year as the head man for the Tar Heels, looking to come up with a victory here at Death Valley. Green on 3rd down. Downfield. Great catch. Kenya Crooks comes up with the catch as he got the feet inbounds.
Man, look at Clemson going back to last week. Green throwing the strike, frozen rope extension, catch, feet in. Boy, good operation. Think he doesn't like this?
Well, confidence is so important for a quarterback, and number 15 has got a boatload of that right now. Priester, deep handoff. But not much territory to go. Marcus Jones, the All-American defensive tackle, shut it down for North Carolina.
Boy, Rick Terry, there's Tommy thinking, well, we took a shot at a deep one, but that was a great play. But my sophomore quarterback just maintained some poise. Boy, Rick Terry for Carolina had good penetration on that play. Starting off with a little razzle-dazzle, folks, but it'll end up being those big guys on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Michael Allen, the freshman, has come in at tailback in the one-back set behind Nealon Green. And on the option, Green will keep it himself, but not much, as Brian Simmons, coming off the edge defensively, is there for North Carolina.
Balance. Good way to describe the Tar Heels defensively. Good balance at down line. So you want to hug the fullback, then you want to get up. You got outside of Kavusuma Mays, but Simmons comes up. He's been having a real good year for Carolina.
3rd down and 6. North Carolina outstanding in shutting down the opposition on 3rd down. Less than 30% converted this year against North Carolina, but Clemson converted before on 3rd down, trying to do it again. The option to Allen, all kinds of room. Michael Allen close and might have the 1st down. Omar Brown on the hit, but those early pass plays pay off there when they go back to the option.
Yeah, Greg Ellis was the man on the island. He had to make a decision, did none of the above. You got to force or react. He doesn't do it. They get the nice toss outside, and there you see the burst.
Michael Allen, the freshman out of Conway, South Carolina, gets the Clemson 1st down at the 14 of North Carolina. Opening drive of the ball game. Priester back in at tailback in front behind Emery Smith. It's Smith who gets the call, and you are going to have to fight for every inch against the interior of the North Carolina defense. Greg Ellis, the first man to hit Emery Smith.
And at down, Marcus Jones. We're going to hear Davis' name mentioned a lot. Terry, here you watch point of attack. This is just man on man, but good penetration again by the Heels. So far, Tar Heels have been doing this pretty much every play so far. They've been really getting good penetration. Purvis at the bottom of that pile.
Gain of just a yard for Emery Smith. Little movement on the line, says Andre Purvis. I think Glenn Roundtree, the right guard, flinched on the play. Robin Wood, our referee this afternoon, telling us indeed it was a legal procedure.
Well, penalties in the red area, or the goal zone, as I like to refer to it. You just flinch a bit. Good reaction. Defensive guys love to take a free shot.
Clemson averages about 6.5 penalties a ball game for 58 yards a game. Hand off to Priester. He gets a couple. The hole looked larger, but good quick movement by Mays and Hamilton. 2/3 of that linebacking core create a 3rd and long situation for Clemson just outside the North Carolina 10-yard line.
That's been a great period for Clemson, 41% on that. You know, you talked about in your discussion with Mack Brown about the bye week and how they really had physical practices. You can sense right now that Carolina has really stepped it up from an intensity standpoint.
Clemson has been outscored all season in the 1st quarter, but they have the early advantage here, they hope, as they go to the end zone way over the head of Tony Horn. as Sean Boyd had the coverage, and the Tigers will have to settle for a field goal try from Jeff Sauve.
Well, we noticed Clemson really get out of character a bit. You know, had some big plays, but didn't get really down to their bread and butter smash mouth football.
Well, the one smash mouth carry of Emery Smith on first down, Doc, put him in 2nd and long, and then the penalty really changed them.
Yeah, well, we saw last week against Tech, they had a few bad plays, but they stayed with us.
Sauve's field goal try is no good as he missed it to the right. All that good work, but nothing to show for it. 9:47 to play in the first period, no score. Away empty. North Carolina gets its first opportunity. Thomas gives it to Leon Johnson. He bounces off Carlos Curry and runs it out for 8 yards. Peter Ford ran him out of bounds, but Leon Johnson, the 210-pound junior, won the battle with Carlos Curry.
And what a play to have on the first play from scrimmage. Bam! I mean, you go face mask to face mask, and the back wins. Curry had toted 285 pounds, and it wasn't enough to stop Johnson.
Leon Johnson has been like fine wine this year for North Carolina. A little more aging each week, and he gets tastier and tastier. That's L.C. Stevens, the man in motion. Johnson again. Good block by his fullback, and they'll pick up the first down. Also had a good block from left tackle Russell Babb on the play. Let's set that North Carolina offense. Behind quarterback Mike Thomas, Chris Watson will be the fullback. Marcus Wall, Octavius Barnes, and Freddie Jones, the starting trio of receivers. An offensive line headed up by a youngster, really. The sophomore Jeff Saturday at center has had a great year, as well as the junior left tackle Byron Thomas. 1st and 10, North Carolina at their own 32-yard line. Watson, the fullback, for just a little lost the ball, but they say it popped loose when he hit the ground. Defensively for Clemson, Carlos Curry will be the man in the middle. He was the guy who made initial contact. Lamar Simpson, coming off an injury, is at one end with Raymond White. Patrick Sapp, Anthony Simmons, Andy McCrory, new linebacking core, along with Brett Williams that has played well. Secondary headed up by two of my favorite hitters, Brian Dawkins and Liam Evans.
Sludge and Sludge Hammer.
Again, the reverse motion. Thomas on the option, got it off to Leon Johnson. Johnson out close to a first down. Brett Williams hit Mike Thomas, but he got the pitch away, and Leon nearly got first down yardage.
Well, when you work against the option in practice, I mean, it really helps you a lot. This is great recognition, great hustle, and super execution on Tar Heels. I mean, you know, that's difficult to do. One thing to do it on air, but that's live, and they made it happen.
They set Patrick Sapp into no man's land and ran around him as Johnson picks up his second first down run of the ball game.
And you got a physical guy to run up against. Put him on that island. Not bad, 4.4 average, 9 scores.
And that number has been going up in recent weeks. Johnson again picks his way through traffic out over the 45-yard line where Anthony Simmons made the hit. Anthony Simmons, the defensive lineman of the week for the Atlantic Coast Conference. It was the 4th time in 8 weeks that Anthony Simmons has been honored by the conference.
Outstanding freshman. Now you see Raymond White, big number 97 on Clinton, Mississippi. Been doing a stellar job as well.
2nd and long for the Tar Heels. Deep handoff to Johnson, has Babb out in front of him. Babb with a huge block on Andy McCrory, and Leon Johnson rambles into Clemson territory down near the 40-yard line.
Boy, Brian Honeycutt got it started. That offensive line, you mentioned Saturday. Honeycutt, there you see those two big guys on the pull. Reminds me of the old counter trade play, put Sapp in a bad position. Johnson was patient. Key, he was patient. He let it happen and worked his way upfield. Now you're on the defensive side, and you're thinking, what do I do? There's McCrory, there's that big guard, and bam, you're on your back.
36 yards on the drive already for Leon Johnson, who gets a breather. Mike Jeter into the ball game at tailback. Thomas tosses it to Jeter. Jeter tries to turn the corner. He fights his way forward with good second effort as he bent over Andy McCrory and Patrick Sapp. Got about 3 or 4 on the play, and McCrory is still down.
Well, the pride of Yorktown High School out of Virginia. This guy's, he has acceleration, he has great balance. The more he plays, I mean, folks out Chapel Hill are going to learn to love this young man.
Andy McCrory, former defensive back. That linebacking core very interesting this year for the Clemson Tigers. Brett Williams at the rush linebacker, used to be a defensive end. Andy McCrory used to be a defensive back. Patrick Sapp used to be a quarterback, and Anthony Simmons used to be a high schooler. Yet they have melded together into a pretty good linebacking unit. When you talk about the Clemson linebackers, of course, there's a big history that you have to live up to down here. Some great linebackers. Let's see if we can see what happened to Andy McCrory.
Well, that's just real contact. The neck gets bowed back just a bit. Then on the ankle, that could be, depends on if it's a lower extremity, it looks like an ankle, but I saw the neck go back. He might have just been dinged.
Working on that left ankle, but I think he took a Riddick bow shot to the chin as well from the shoulder pad of Mike Jeter.
Yeah, he got a double shot, head and ankle. Then body got a little laxed. You know, a lot of times you were knocked out for a few moments. I mean, you just flat out. You mentioned those linebackers, and usually you think about Penn State, you think about linebackers, but Clemson doesn't have to take a back seat. Carolina,
not to anybody.
We all know the great Lawrence Taylor.
And of course, North Carolina has long had the proud tradition of being tailback U in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And you can see in the Mack Brown era, when they can get more than 200 yards rushing, they are an outstanding football team. McCrory favoring that left ankle as he comes to the sidelines. He'll be replaced by another true freshman, number 57, Chris Jones. Jones played pretty well last week against Georgia Tech.
Well, you figure he's 5th on the team in tackles, you know, backing up. So that tells you a lot about the freshman. I mean, freshmen, when you look at Poindexter out of Virginia, there's been some outstanding freshmen in the ACC.
Midway through this first quarter, no score. Each team has been able to move the ball, but no points up yet on the board. He's back in the game, and Leon will get to within a couple of yards of first down territory. Again, it appeared that the ball popped loose, but it was after the play. Tony Planton was the man who planted Johnson to the turf.
Boy, when he looks back at this one, he just had he hugs the block of Linton. I mean, Linton is there with him. Baxter pulls around. They got a real nice seal. He doesn't hug it well enough. Gets out in no man's land. Gets out in space. Oh, you hug that double team, man, and he'd still be running.
Carolina about 40% on third down this year as Stevens again goes in motion. They'll toss it to Johnson, trying to get to the corner. Anthony Simmons got him, and it is going to be close.
There is simply no substitute for speed, and especially on the defensive side. It allows you to be out of position. Johnson looks like he's favoring maybe an ankle or knee. Looks like he may have taken a shot on the leg. You watch this young freshman, Anthony Simmons. He's going to come into your screen. There you see all blue and white. There he goes. So he's chasing. He's in a bad fundamental position, but he makes up for it with speed.
Jonathan Linton coming into the ball game. Mack Brown's going to go for it if they don't get the first down, and they are going to be shy of it by about 3/4 the length of the football. Keep in mind, Scott Caparelli, their field goal kicker, does not have great range. As long on the season as 37 yards, he would be attempting a 49-yarder here, even with the wind to his back. Carolina will go for it on 4th down. As Watson, Linton, and McGregor all come into the lineup, it'll be the jumbo backfield. Mike Thomas has yet to throw the football here in this first drive for North Carolina.
Well, you mentioned Jeff Saturday and the fine year he's had. You got a 270-pound center and a 240-pound quarterback. You can do a lot of things on short yardage.
That's Watson in motion. They give it to Linton, and the big guy has the first down. The sophomore out of Catasauqua, Pennsylvania, stacked up by Mon Wilson, but not before Linton got to the 30. And another North Carolina first down. They are now 9 of 16 this year when they have gone for it on fourth down. It has all been on the ground as they have worked their way down to the 5:45 mark of the first quarter. Each team has had the ball but one time.
Statement football, man. You put it in their players' minds, they're just tougher, and they go out and prove it.
Fullback Chris Watson, not much at all. Lamarick Simpson, broken thumb and all, was right there to stop Watson for virtually no gain.
Yeah, Mons Wilson, big time play on that. You look at Clemson, they kind of like this. I mean, that smash mouth football is their version. They practice that way. Tommy West, still one of the coaches that I know has the old board, lays the wood out, and has the guys under the chicken coop, and you come out and you slug it out. So this is going to be good.
Barnes comes to the right of Thomas with Wall and Stevens to his left. He has yet to throw the football, and it's still the Brown game. Johnson on the toss sweep. Again, that overall team speed of Clemson makes it a short yardage play, and there is a flag down as well. Ryan Dawkins and Patrick Sapp were there.
Sapp was there, but Marcus Wall on him. You get a wide receiver going on a stud like Sapp, and that says a lot about Marcus and his courage. As a co-captain, I mean, you have to demonstrate that. That's a good block.
Robin Wood will tell us what the flag was about.
Offsides on the defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Second penalty of the ball game against Clemson. They have been costly ones. Instead of 3rd and long, it'll be 2nd and medium. Their first penalty took them back when they were down in the red zone, where they eventually missed a field goal.
Well, I love the first 8 minutes of a football game. You start to try to put that philosophy down and really try to establish tempo in this game. So far, all smash mouth football for the Tar Heels.
And Warren Forney jumps off sides, and that should give North Carolina a first down.
Dead ball, offsides on the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
We saw the bye week help Virginia against Florida State Thursday night set a defense to try and slow down the Gulf Coast offense. It looks like in the bye week for North Carolina, Mack Brown wanted to reinvigorate his ground game, and here on this opening drive, as they said in the Frankenstein movie, it's alive, it's alive. Leon Johnson runs into Anthony Simmons, and speaking of live bodies, the freshman drops Johnson for a loss.
It's hard to imagine that anybody can be this good this early in their football career. I mean, going up against big physical offense like Carolina, he reads so well. Now, granted, he's got some big guys up front. What a double team. Nice double team. I mean, gives him an eye-opener there. Great power off the ball. Here, Forney, he's fighting his guts out. 2-on-1, holds it up. Get it back to like that feeling. That is quite impressive.
Talk about Anthony Simmons a little more in a moment on 2nd and long. Thomas, draw play Johnson, and is hit in the backfield by Brett Williams, and he'll lose more ground. They ran a draw play, but there were just too many orange-shirted jerseys in front of Leon Johnson.
Hey, Tigers showing they're ready to slug it out. Good recognition. That's just reckless abandon. You got guys coming in and leaving their feet, flying over piles. Brett Williams really impressed me last week against Georgia Tech. This young man is loaded with talent.
That was an all-out blitz, Doc. They had Brett Williams and Brian Dawkins coming.
Bringing it.
3rd and, call it 15. First pass of the day for Thomas. And L.C. Stevens is hammered by Mon Wilson. No gain. And Stevens is still down.
Man, that's how you get the wind knocked right out of you. See, this play took a long time to develop. See, they recognize that. Forney, good recognition.
Has sent Scott Caparelli, their senior place kicker, out to attempt what would be a 42-yard field goal. You see his long on the year is 37. He does have the wind to his back. Oscar Davenport on the hold, and it's a fake. Davenport is sacked by Patrick Sapp. times, drive down the field and come up empty.
Boy, it is hard to imagine that you can fake anybody out with a trick play when you bring in a guy like Davenport to be your holder and you have it coming out of a timeout. Well, it didn't work. And Sapp comes up and makes a big-time stop, kills the momentum of a Tar Heel drive that up to that point had been quite impressive.
26 plays between the two teams and more than 100 yards in the first quarter, but no points. Nealon Green to Antoine Wyatt. Wyatt slips a tackle and another. Antoine Wyatt out close to midfield. Kavus of Amaze finally brings him down.
What is going on with Clemson's offense? Boy, they're throwing the football. Well, you know, you talked about this young man in our open, Jack, and how he would have to be a big part of this ball game. He just sense now what a relief it is to know he's going to get the football. Brown comes up. He's going to be the saving grace on this deal after Mays kind of slows him down. Here you watch him.
See ya.
Yeah. Boy, way to stop. I mean, that is hard to do. That is hard to do.
Quick toss to Raymond Priester. Priester out close to another Clemson first down as he takes it into North Carolina territory. Sean Boyd on the stop. Raymond Priester with his first large run of the afternoon. They'll say he went out of bounds at about the 41-yard line of North Carolina. It's another first down.
You know, people have had a hard time coming to Death Valley and winning, but when you're the home team, you have a tough time winning at home. It is very difficult to overcome that psychologically.
Again, the toss to Priester. Good block by Emery Smith on Brian Simmons. It's out about 7 or 8 yards on the play. Second and short for Clemson. We'll go to our big guy on the field, Mike Hogwood.
I'll tell you, stopping Oscar Davenport's really fired him up on offense, as you can tell. Give the Clemson coaches credit. They saw Davenport in the game, not Greg Williams, a regular holder. They all hollered fake, 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 fake. Clemson wasn't fooled at all on that fake field goal attempt.
Patrick Sapp with the sack on that. Patrick told me yesterday that's like throwing a touchdown pass. So another TD toss for the ex-quarterback. And there's a toss to Antoine Wyatt, trying to get him the ball in open space, and a good open field tackle by Omar Brown. Short yardage, and I think he is still shy of the first down. Nealon Green 5 of 7 here in the opening quarter. Third and short, they give it to Emery Smith. He got stacked up, and we'll have to wait and see where they spot the football. That is going to be very close. Marcus Jones, who has played better and better as he has gotten over that preseason knee injury, was the guy that made the first hit on Emery Smith.
Well, you can understand that they made it really a big part of their business to stop Smith. I thought that would be one of the keys in the game. And so far, I mean, when you look at the tackle play, Terry and Jones and then Mays, they've been Johnny on the spot.
North Carolina almost totally on the ground on their first drive. Clemson has thrown the ball more than everybody thought, and Robin Wood showed you just how far Clemson will have to go to keep this drive alive. Robert Jackson comes into the ball game. Mark Landry comes into the ball game. Lamont Hall returns. There are the numbers this year on Marcus Jones, the All-American, 6'6", 290-pounder out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. Smith, boy, it's gonna. He only needed a little, and he only got a little if he got that. This will be very close.
This is all on the spot. Marcus Dow, all you could see was big number 78. He engulfed him. Man, that down line, that front four. Tar Heels, they have not given up much. Pringle coming in, he's getting a hat in there, down to the bottom of that pile. You know Jones is there.
Mike Pringley, number 91, the redshirt freshman from Linden, New Jersey, really came over the top well. And was it left foot or right foot? That'll tell you whether or not that spot got you the first down. And North Carolina has held. A great defensive stand by that front wall of the Tar Heels in the closing seconds of the first period.
And this is really just a shot in the gut for both sides, especially Tommy West. I mean, they pride themselves on being able to root people out. You miss blocks at the point of attack, as we saw right in front of your screen. See, Landry gets beat. If you cannot give up inside penetration on short yardage. That was a great move by Mike Pringley.
Tar Heels get it back just over their own 30-yard line. Mike Thomas will throw on the bootleg. And finds his man, Marcus Wall. Marcus Wall, the speedster, down inside the Clemson 40. Liam Evans on the stop. It was all on the ground on their first possession. The bootleg goes for 30 here on their first play of drive number 2.
Good decision with the football. If he chooses the inside receiver is picked, he goes outside. And there you see, you can't have guys running in space. McClellan didn't have a shot at the football. And then you talk about the speed and acceleration. Marcus Wall.
Well, we have to correct ourselves. It wasn't Marcus Wall. It was Darren Ashford who made the catch and got the Tar Heels into Clemson territory. A quarter of football in the book. Lots of action, but no score. After 15 minutes of football here at Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina, the Tar Heels and the Tigers. But as we look at our Lee Apparel first quarter stats, it wasn't like the game wasn't busy. There were a lot of things going on, but both teams' defenses rose to the occasion when necessary.
A lot of contact too, boys. Good. Love it.
Mike Thomas, deep handoff to Leon Johnson, trying to turn the corner. Look at all the orange jerseys. And Johnson is going to lose yardage. Lamar Simpson broke his thumb and bruised his knee against Georgia Tech. Was doubtful most of the week, but has looked pretty good so far today.
I hate to see him healthy. If he's hurting now with that kind of lateral quickness.
Loss of about 3 on the play for Leon Johnson. Ashford and Barnes come to the left of quarterback Mike Thomas. And he'll put it up. Picked off. Peter Ford with the interception. Mike Thomas trying to run the curl route to Ashford, and Peter Ford picks off his second interception of the season.
Started thinking to myself, when are they going to get Barnes in the ball game? Here you watch the pass pro on this, more than adequate, going to your left, trying to set the shoulders up, see you late. Barnes has got to bring himself all the way back to this football. But when you go roll left and you try to set those shoulders up, he broke on the football, and the receiver's got to break that up, or you're in big trouble.
Mont Wilson put pressure on Mike Thomas. The turnover gives it to Clemson. As they toss it to Raymond Priester, he slips through traffic and takes it out over the 35-yard line. James Hamilton on the hit, but not before Raymond Priester picked up about 8.
That's a defensive war. It really is. You can get stopped on a 4th and 1. You come back and get an interception. In the meantime, a couple of big plays here or there, but these two teams, and you mentioned the Virginia win over FSU, and now you start to think there's hope. You can control your own destiny, but you got to get it done on the field.
2nd down and 2 for the Tigers. Priester again on the toss. Good block in front of him by Emery Smith, and he should have the first down out near the 38-yard line. Both these teams have very good lateral pursuit. And when you try and run the perimeter, Doc, you better make up your mind and not hesitate.
Oh, you can't. They also had a slant on. They had a slant running that side to that side of the field. And when you can pick up a slant and still get positive yardage, it says a lot. Big Robert Jackson there, all 325 pounds of that young man out of H.D. Woodson in Washington, D.C. He's really had a good year. He's come on strong, and I think has a nice future.
Close enough to measure again. And it's a first down for the Tigers. Fifth first down of the afternoon for Tommy West's team, and they have had pretty good balance so far. Take their tight end out of the game and work 3 wide receivers. And toss it to Priester. Raymond Priester out to about the 44-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. Let's go to the sidelines again. Mike Hogwood.
Some good news on the Clemson bench, and that's Andre McCory, who turned his ankle. Hasn't been back in since, but he's been running up and down the sidelines. He feels okay. Next time they're back on D, number 5 will be in the game.
Michael Allen checks into the ball game at tailback. Emery Smith is also out of the lineup. They'll go to that one-back set again with 4 wide receivers. Second, let's call it more like 5. Green gives it to Allen, and he is cut down quickly by Kavusha-Mays.
Man, we are really lucky to see great linebacker play on both sides. Running the football, playing your reads, good inside-out angle, comes right across the bow, comes right across real life. You like to see him lock up a little better, but he gets good initial contact. And see, you watch the rest of the white shirts right there. Simmons in great position, not giving any ground.
Tell you what, Russell Davis denied Robert Jackson a chance to even block on Mays. That was a big factor. They come right back to the same play, and it may be enough for first down yardage for Raymond Priester. Mays ran him out of bounds.
Not a strong arm football. When you get 300-pounders that don't get movement on there, you know there's some weight room, some strength there. Hey, you watch this. Glad Pringley, he's just, as a freshman, it's just hard to imagine. 235 pounds going up against Robert Jackson, who's 3 1/4. That means you spend a lot of time hitting the weights.
You could see in the eyes in that replay of Raymond Priester. He spotted that first down marker and just made his run right there. Green on the roll, finds Wyatt. Close to another first down. It'd be about a half-yard shy. Ryan Simmons chases him out of bounds. Antoine Wyatt came in 11th in the conference with 31 receptions. He has been an active man already in this one, 4 catches.
Think about Green. You know, once he gets in a groove, he is rough. Now watch the footwork on this. This is a little special. He tried to get it in. I think he does. Think about Green in 1994, only 1 interception in 94 attempts. So once he gets the rhythm and gets the confidence going, he can be unstoppable.
He's got but 5 interceptions this year as they give it to Emery Smith. He'll get first down yardage, but not much more, as again, K. Mays is there on the stop, the sophomore from Anniston, Alabama. But he got a lot worse from that collision.
Yeah, he got a little hip hit on that hip. Mays, bulldog.
Second in the conference in averages in tackle average per game. 85 tackles in the first 7 ball games for North Carolina. Another Clemson first down, their 7th of the ball game. But we are still scoreless early in the second quarter. Priester cut off by Holiday, was able to fight forward where Mays is there again. Vonnie Holiday had great penetration.
Good athletes, about 265 pounds for Vonnie. And again, you start to watch it. The penetration really on both sides when they're on has been the difference in this ball game. You're trying to extend the option out, and it's tough. Look at the pursuit. There's Marcus Jones, who throw Marcus Jones' stats out of the window. It's what he does on the field that allows the rest of these guys like Ellis, Terry, and Davis to be effective. But you've always got to have at least 2 people watching Marcus Jones.
Looks like they've had their best success, as those numbers show you, running to their right. Second and long, they go left again with Priester. This time got a good block from Jim Bundren and got it inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Guess who? K-Mays there again for North Carolina.
If you don't know where we are in this ball game, you look at Kavusha-Mays, you think, is this the 4th quarter? I mean, that's how much slugging has gone on. As we mentioned, 85 tackles, 1 sack. I mean, these guys have been in a toe-to-toe, right cross to left cross kind of operation, and one can only imagine what this is going to look like in the 4th quarter.
I think you can take the top 5 teams in the ACC right now and say every one of them can play very physical. Short yardage, Green on the option, keeps it himself, first down, Clemson. Nealon Green, who averages about 3 yards a carry, got about 4 on that play and keeps the drive alive.
Now this is when he becomes a premium quarterback. He's been throwing well. There you see Emery Smith at the point of attack. Great block on the edge by Emery on Hamilton. But it's that footwork and that knowledge and just that feel that Elon has. when you get a big fullback that can block and run like Emory Smith, you can do a lot on offense.
1st and 10 inside the 30. They've been down there once before, and they're going to lose yardage. Marcus Jones says, how do you stop the option? You don't even let them get an option.
That's an All-American play. That is an All-American play. Now you can see why this young man was preseason defensive player of the year. See, you take a good football player in Glenn Roundtree, you engulf him, and you go get a quarterback, and you stop it all. You take control of the play in a near fumble. That, folks, is an All-American performance.
They wanted to chop Marcus Jones, and he just stepped right over the attempt by Roundtree. 2nd and 12. Green play action. Going for it all. Has a man open. Joe Woods. Touchdown. Joe Woods, the transfer from Mississippi, scores his first Clemson touchdown. The Tigers get the first points of the day.
Well, you know what they can do by ground, and that play action sets it up. Good block by Priester. And there's the give, the basket Willie Mays style catch, and a score. But it's all set up by the run.
Longest play of the year for Joe Woods. Jeff Sauve's conversion is good. 9:29 to play here in the first half. The hometown team has the early lead. Another look at the first score of the ball game. Nealon Green to Joe Woods.
Boy, nice loft on that. Can you imagine? I mean, Green has the confidence now to put a little air on that football, and he just kind of knows it's going to happen. I credit that offensive line for being able to establish the ground attack, but this young man now is just overflowing with confidence.
Nealon 7 for 9 in this game, 92 yards and his 9th touchdown of the year. How about in his last 2 games, 17 of his last 22, 265 yards, no interceptions, and 3 touchdowns.
You're going to win a lot of football games with those numbers.
Marcus Wall, the kickoff return specialist, nearly cracked another one as he gets it over the North Carolina, trying to rebound after the turnover with a scoring drive by Clemson following the Thomas interception. And they give it to Leon Johnson, and he runs into a stack of bodies headed up by Chris Jones, the freshman from Monroe, Georgia.
Well, you talk about some collisions. I mean, both sides, fullbacks. Linton this time, I mean, he comes in there with authority. I mean, you can just get a sense that these teams now are playing with a renewed purpose.
What really impresses me about Chris Jones, and even more so Anthony Simmons, not only are they great linebackers with big popability, they're not very heavy.
Popability, I like that. Popability.
Well, it's all yours. Mike Thomas going downfield, picked off. Andy Ford, one twin and then the other, have picked off Mike Thomas. Clemson gets another turnover, and they'll have it out near their own 40-yard line.
Taking home game balls to mama. Now this is what Carolina. We got a flag on this?
Now there's a flag on the play.
Good fake by Thomas. And this is what put them really in a trick bag, if you will. It's just putting the ball up that is ill-advised, throwing into coverage, not taking what's open.
Robin Wood discussing the situation with his crew of officials here this afternoon.
Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defensive team after the interception. First down.
Somebody obviously in a strong disagreement about the Bosnian peace talks in Dayton, Ohio this weekend, and it cost Clemson 15 yards. Let's go to the sidelines and Mike Cockwood.
Well, what happened was Octavius Barnes was hollering that he was interfered with, and he was screaming at the officials. And to say what I can say on television, the Clemson defensive backs told him to be quiet and go over to the sidelines, and the flag flew, although it wasn't that nice.
Well, it usually happens, Mike, that it's the second guy who gets it. 2 turnovers against North Carolina, and turnovers have plagued this team all year long. Lamont Pegues comes into the ball game at tailback. He was one of the stars for Clemson in the win a year ago at Chapel Hill. Pegues trying to turn the corner. Doesn't have much success because of Greg Ellis. And now it's the Clemson sidelines turn to be upset about what they thought was a little extracurricular.
Well, Carolina, when you're on the road, I mean, the one thing you have to continually have and possess is an inner toughness. I mean, it's just like you, and that's it. The rest of those guys in your colored uniform, you got to look at this turnover margin. We knew coming in it would be the problem for Carolina, but you thought with the bye week that maybe they've been able to work out some of the kinks, and Clemson comes in with a +2.
Emery Smith gets the fake. They get it to Pegues again, and boy, if possible, the contact is even more severe than it was earlier in the game. Mays with a heavy-duty hit on Pegues. It'll be 3rd and long.
And it's going to get even better than that.
8:16 to play here in the second quarter. Clemson leading it 7-0. We're ready to go again on 3rd and 6 for the Tigers as Green operates from the shotgun. Fires to Antoine Wyatt, and it's picked off. Brian Simmons with the athletic effort to wrest the ball away from Antoine Wyatt. A flag on the play, so hang on a second. The penalty against Clemson is declined. Brian Simmons with his first interception comes up big for the Tar Heels.
You see, I see more and more of this now, where defensive players, these good athletes who played a lot of high school ball, played some offense, just a little more perceptive after going after the football. That man out of New Bern, North Carolina, makes it happen.
I was surprised that Wyatt even caught that ball around his ankles. Simmons then makes an even better play to take it away from him. That's Ashford in motion as Thomas tosses it to Leon Johnson. Big hole. Johnson down near the 20-yard line. Anthony Simmons tripped him up. Otherwise, Johnson might have gone the distance.
And that play had what we like to term as a lot of potential. Like Freddie Jones out on the edge, maintains good position. See if he doesn't slip there. Good effort. Simmons gets the back of that heel. If not, the band might have been playing for Carolina.
3 turnovers, 2 for North Carolina, 1 for Clemson. The Tar Heels trying to take advantage of the first Clemson miscue. Long count, all sorts of bodies moving. Who did it first? If Clemson made contact, then the penalty will go against the Tar Heels, or against the Tigers, and the Tar Heels clap that that's what happened.
Dead ball, defense, offsides, 5 yards, repeat the down.
Offsides against the Tigers.
Tommy West, slightly emotional on the sidelines. Fifth penalty already against the Tigers for 35 yards. Mike Thomas, a slow start throwing the ball. So they keep it on the ground. Linton, the fullback, started the year as a tailback and will play some there, but in their efforts to get more offense out of the fullback spot, they moved the sophomore, and he got good yardage there.
A lot of talent on both backfields. Mike Hopgood, 61 at guard for Carolina. Real nice effort on this play. Big guy staying, keeping the feet moving. See, you watch that. Those blue and white shirts, man, them moving the orange shirts out of the way. That was a good play up front by the Tar Heel offensive line.
Midway through the second quarter, North Carolina with their best scoring opportunity yet. Leon Johnson will lose yardage. Mon Wilson with great penetration, the sophomore from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Don't you love it? You know, the guys in the white shirt get a good play up front, and the guys in the orange shirt come right back, and they counter it. That's how evenly matched these two teams are. Great effort on each play, good intensity. So there you watch that. Good fundamental stance. Boy, Mons Wilson, Coach, that's the way you coach your kids, wouldn't you? Drop those hips, bend those knees, and strike.
And square up. North Carolina very proficient down in the red zone. Thomas, play fake, trying to find some place to go, but Wilson ran him out of bounds. Very close to a late hit at the end of the play. Anthony Simmons also in pursuit. And Carlos Curry is the injured Tiger.
Man, has he played hard this year.
Keep in mind that they are thin on that defensive front. As we look at Curry being attended to on the sidelines, we can see Warren Forney, another defensive lineman, already heading to the locker room for the Tigers. So
Bernard Randolph, he's out, broke his leg rather, a couple of weeks ago, so they are hurting a bit.
Well, you know, there has been a lot of contact in this game when we have seen a number of guys in the same situation as Carlos Curry. Bodies flying everywhere with lots of contact usually results in this kind of scene.
Yeah, easily the most physical game that I've seen so far. Now, we haven't played a lot of football yet, but up to this point, this has really been face mask to face mask football.
This is a crucial game for Tommy West's team. Keep in mind they need to win 6 ball games to be eligible, 6 1A ball games to be eligible for a bowl game. Right now they have 5 wins, but only 4 1A wins. So they've got to win at least 2 of their final 3 ball games. Down to the sidelines again, and Mike Hogwood.
You were talking about Warren Forney a moment ago going to the locker room. He injured his elbow on that encroachment penalty, and they're going to x-ray it. They think it might be broken or cracked, but that'd be a big blow for the Tigers.
3rd down and 11. They are 0 for 2 on 3rd down, North Carolina. Thomas to throw. Flag down into the end zone. It is caught by Chris Watson out of the backfield. Let's check the penalty marker. And it's coming back.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty and repeat, 3rd down.
First penalty of the afternoon against North Carolina, and it is huge.
Man. And especially to have a successful throw and catch by Thomas would have been really a confidence booster for him. But, you know, formations it's critical. Sometimes it's just a matter of the guy being up on the line or not. And Mack Brown now is reading a little bit of his mind off to the guys in stripes.
The illegal shift penalty pushes it back to the 16-yard line where it's 3rd down. And now North Carolina is going to take a timeout. .6:07 to go. Huge play here for the Tar Heels, trailing by a touchdown. $7-0 Clemson leading, but North Carolina has it at the Tigers' 16-yard line. 3rd and 16. Clemson with their dime package, 6 defensive backs in the ball game. Mike Thomas with time, incomplete. As he tried to get it to his tight end, Freddie Jones couldn't short hop the ball, and the Tar Heels will have to try for a field goal.
Missed opportunities. You don't get a lot in the red area. You got to cash in. Go back to an illegal shift.
Scott Caparelli will be trying a 33-yard field goal. 8 of 11 from inside of 35, but it's blocked. Dexter McLean with the block. The Tigers block kicks better than anybody in the country, and they do it again.
Certain teams pull this off more so than not. A lot of it has to go to just the emphasis that you put on it as a staff. Oh boy, that was a clean one. I mean, he might have been taking that one off the ball and ran with it. That was a clean block.
New Clemson record. That was the 7th blocked kick of the '95 campaign for the Tigers. Tommy West team able to thwart the drive of the North Carolina Tar Heels following the Simmons interception. Couple of ticks under 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Lamont Pegues, big hole up the middle, out close to first down numbers. Hamilton and Boyd on the stop for the Tar Heels.
I think momentum is obviously doing some shifting now. That's just good wall up front, pushing people down the line, if you will, for Clemson. Those big tackles again. Morgan's been playing well, Jackson playing well. Landry, they rotate the big guys, Bundren, and it keeps them fresh. And right now they're pushing the weight around a little bit.
10-yard gain for Pegues, the sophomore out of Thomasville, South Carolina. And Lamont gets the ball again, this time short yardage, because Kavusha-Vamaze knocked him off his pins, and James Hamilton finished it off.
Jack, I don't know if he's going to be able to stay on the field. Mays is really limping.
Clemson has had big second quarters throughout the year. You can see they have started slow and then gotten better. We mentioned they are 1-3 here at home, but the 3 losses are to Florida State, Virginia, and Georgia, and really only the Georgia game was one they really felt they should have won.
Well, Virginia really had to overcome some odds, and really how they had a tough time winning in Death Valley. They pulled it off.
A little quick pass to Antoine Wyatt. Wyatt with a move. Wyatt into North Carolina territory at the 46-yard line. Brian Simmons ran him down. Nealon Green and Antoine Wyatt are on the same wavelength.
They're getting it done. Poor Omar Brown. He got to be asking himself, I've been so close, but yet so far away from making plays. See, here he gets juked on that one. Downfield, though, the pressure that Woods applies. See, that when you get your buddies to help you out, downfield chipping away, you can do good things.
22-yard gain. Priester now playing at fullback in front of Pegues. Pegues lost the football but fell right back on it at the 37-yard line of North Carolina. Jamie Carrick, who was in the ball game at middle linebacker, put the big hit on.
Yeah, talk about collisions. We've had 4 or 5 flush hits. Good. There's our guy in there, Marcus Jones, great and happy. See that? I mean, that's just straight contact. He's lucky that ball bounced right back to him, because for my money, he's completely knocked out for a split second.
James Hamilton was the guy that popped the ball loose, but it fell right back to Pegues. Lamont gets the call again. Good cut and an even better tackle by Sean Boyd, the free safety, right at the 40-yard line. It'll leave him about 4 yards shy of a first down.
Yeah, you talked about the safeties, and that's a sledgehammer hit. Great, though, linebacker play again by Simmons. He forces him inside, and he's always where he ought to be.
3:40 to play here in the second quarter. Clemson has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. They are 4 of 6 on third down. Quick toss and not a real good pass this time from Green to Wyatt. Down to the sidelines again, Mike Hogwood.
Guys, coming up at halftime, we'll be, of course, giving you our Ice House Player of the Week, and we'll be talking with some former Clemson quarterbacks. Mike Epley and Rodney Williams will be joining us. We'll look at our weekly ACC stat rundown, and I have a lot of interesting things for you at halftime, but I think there's still a lot of football to be played here in this first half yet.
Well, believe it or not, in a 7-0 ball game late in the second quarter, this will be the first punt of the game. Kevin Laird will try and back up the Tar Heels. He must be the designated pooch kicker, and that's a dandy. Wall calls for and makes the fair catch at the 10. If he doesn't do that, that ball's down inside the 5.
You're in trouble. That's smart. That's good football.
So North Carolina will be 89 yards away from tying this game up with 3:21 to play. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Tar Heels had the 1 touchdown, but it was called back on the illegal shift and eventually missed the field goal. Each team has missed a field goal. North Carolina also attempted a fake on a field goal and came up empty. Thomas gives it to Johnson on the delay. And Chris Jones, the freshman, stops him out near the 15-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and about 6.
You know, things don't stay open too long in this, but these 2 defensive clubs, I was just about to say, what a hole, and all of a sudden it is over and closed. That's what speed will do for you. Chris Jones, again, an excellent athlete who is 5th in the team in tackles and been playing spot duty.
Thomas on the option. To Johnson, first down, out of bounds, out near the 25-yard line. Antoine Edwards, the free safety, knocked him out of bounds. North Carolina has had 26 offensive plays, 21 of them on the ground.
Oh, this is nice. This is picturesque option football. And Brian Honeycutt makes a good decision here. Here you watch the guard, 62, pulling. There you watch Sapsy. He stays at home, gets a hit. You want to get a hit on the quarterback. But good toss, good execution. Extracurricular
Side bump and push. Thomas to Johnson again. Great penetration this time by Adrian Dingle. Also Tony DeSue. 2 more linebackers for Clemson. Might have lost a yard on the play. Leon Johnson has carried the ball 16 times already in this game for 59 yards, so it has not been an easy effort for Leon.
I started off the first 10 plays at pounding the football, and Leon, but I think as a back, I'm sure he loves it.
Thomas has a screen set up for Johnson with a couple of blockers in front of him. Leon Johnson, he's got room up the sidelines, couldn't stay inbounds. He'll have a North Carolina first down, but had he been able to stay inbounds, he might have gone the distance.
Boy, George Geathers comes out 74. He tried to line up. You know, it's tough. Those big 300-pounders are out in space trying to line up a block. See, you think good inside move, and sometimes you think by design. Thomas that time just got beat. Now watch this. See, that's pretty good athleticism for a big guy to try to get a nick on it. Just a little push, and that opens it up. A good running by Johnson.
18-yard pickup. 1:56 to play in the first half. North Carolina down 7-0, but they have moved the ball much of the day. Marcus Wall in motion. Thomas hits as he throws, but gets Marcus Wall. The pressure from Adrian Dingle forced Thomas to throw that ball low to Marcus Wall, because Wall had room to run had he been able to stay on his feet.
It's twice now. Dingle has brought it from that side. Real good pass rush. Again, 235-pound freshman. Here he shows no fear. That's good speed rush. Watch him bend back and get a hit on the quarterback. Those hits on the quarterback, folks, eventually pay dividends.
6-yard pass. They go back to the ground. Leon Johnson, and there is not much there. He'll be shy of the first down, and now North Carolina will be forced to use the second of its timeouts with 1:16 to play here in the second quarter. 3 of these ball games to get themselves in line for a postseason bid for sure.
And there's nothing worse than to play an opponent that doesn't like you and wants to see you stay home, you know, and miss a bowl game. So Duke will be dangerous, NC State dangerous, and but as a player, man, you'd want that. You want to be able to go out and play some quality football teams.
3rd down and a long 2. But more importantly, 76 seconds to play in the first half. Thomas had his pass deflected over the head of Chris Watson and incomplete. Good penetration by the Clemson defense. The deflection forces North Carolina to punt away the football. And Mike Thomas will be doing the punting duties for the first time this year. Dexter McCleon went deep, and now he moves back up. They're not convinced that Mike is going to punt the football.
I don't blame him.
Just tries to pooch it himself. And it will roll down inside the Clemson 15-yard line. First punt of the year for Mike Thomas. And it's not a bad effort of nearly 40 yards, 37 yards. Let's go back to the field and Mike Hogwood.
This game has taken a toll on both sides. First of all, for Clemson, Warren Forney, he has been ruled out of the rest of this football game. For North Carolina, Kavuso Mames, he has injured his shin. They have put what looks like a baseball catcher's shin guard on it, taped it on there, and they're hoping he'll be able to play.
There you see K. Mays, the sophomore from Alabama, African-American studies major.
You know, Jack, you can get your kid to kick you in the shin and it'll drop you to your knees. Can you
That's
imagine?
right. Bring tears to your eyes, no problem.
I'm telling you, man. Wow.
Tigers give it to Emery Smith on first down, and he goes nowhere from the penetration of Rick Terry. But the Tigers will be content, I think, to just let this clock run down and go into the locker room with the 7-0 advantage.
Yeah. You don't want to have a bad play.
In North Carolina, with only the one timeout, can't do much about clock management.
I think it's time now to get on the blackboard, get in there and start putting some things on the marker and figure out where you are and what you have to do for the stretch run.
This could be the final play of the first half. Emery Smith lugs it over the 15-yard line. Ellison Mays there for North Carolina. North Carolina won the toss of the coin and deferred, so they'll get the ball to start the second half, and that's why Clemson even more felt content to wind down the closing seconds of this first half. The Clemson Tigers, trying to maintain their homecoming edge, have the lead. Down to the sidelines, Tommy West is with our Mike Hogwood.
I tell you, Coach, this is one defensive battle here.
There are two excellent defenses on the field. We knew coming in that they had an outstanding defense, and our defense is playing well.
And you came out wide open gunning. You still going to keep with that philosophy?
Yeah, I think we have to. I mean, they're big and they're strong, and their linebackers can run, and we can't try to just muscle them around. We got to throw it.
You're running a lot of other tailbacks in there today besides Priester. Any philosophy to that?
Well, Raymond's got a little bit of a hamstring pull, so I think he's okay to play. But we want to play some of those other people and try to get a little speed on the corner.
What do you tell them second half?
Well, we got to keep doing what we're doing, but we got to put it in the end zone. We need another touchdown offensively right now.
All right. Good luck, Coach. That's a word from Tommy West. His Tigers lead the Tar Heels 7-0. We are at halftime in Death Valley.
7-0 Clemson leading North Carolina. Let's go to the sidelines. Mike Hogwood and Mack Brown.
Mack, you got down close several times, just didn't get it in the end zone. The guys still have to feel pretty positive about it.
Well, Mike, they feel positive about it. We knew it would be a physical ball game, and we're moving the ball real well. We've stopped them quite a bit. They're hurting us some with the split inside stuff, the sweep and the option. Our guys have to quit making mistakes. We have a guy in motion on the touchdown play. We're trying to early make something happen as coaches, and we should have gone ahead and kicked the field goal, but they blocked a lot of field goals, so we've got to go play and believe we can win the second half.
What'd you tell the guys in the locker room to do the second half? What do you have to do specifically?
The thing I told them, we were in a situation where we'd hurt ourselves on offense. They really hadn't done much to stop us, and we can take care of that. We got to play like North Carolina the second half. We got to make it a physical game the second half like it has been, and go back out there and win the game in the fourth quarter because it's going to be a tight game.
These guys look like they still believe.
They're going to believe.
All right, that's Mack Brown.
Mack Brown's team, which has played very well in the second half this year in terms of outscoring its opponents, but so too has Tommy West Clemson Tigers. So both coaches know these final 30 minutes of football over the next hour and a half will go a long way towards determining what will happen the rest of the season for two very fine football programs. Marcus Wall, the deep man in the triangle, awaiting the kickoff of Jeff Sauve. Kick angling towards the sidelines, where Wall will take it on his own 4-yard line. Wall with a crease tries to cut it outside, out near the 30-yard line, where Brad Pope makes the stop. In the first half, we had 10 possessions between these two teams, 1 punt apiece. You can see that it was on their final possession that North Carolina finally had to punt the ball. They faked a field goal on their first possession and had a blocked field goal. Turnover stopping the other two drives. Leon Jansen with Russell Babb in front of him pushes it out over the 30 to about the 33. Raymond White and Brian Dawkins on the stop. Leon was 60 yards on 17 carries in the first 30 minutes of football. Picked up about 4 there, make it almost, let's call it 5.
Eventually, you're going to see him working more into the passing game against Clemson after they decide they're not going to be able to turn these corners on them.
That's Ashford in motion. Johnson again. Slipped a tackle at the line of scrimmage and picks up a first down.
I like that. I think you have to go north-south against Clemson. I'm amazed at teams that try to turn the corner on them. It's so quick, so athletic. But when you just take it, there you picked up on a good slant, good block. You got a fullback. Both clubs have fullbacks that will block you. And that time, Watson with a nice block.
8th rushing first down of the ball game for North Carolina. Most of those on the strong legs of Leon Johnson. Thomas will put it up. In and out of the hands of Freddie Jones, the tight end. 2nd and 10, North Carolina.
Well, Freddie having a tough time picking up catch number 14 of the year. Runs a real good route, gets himself open. Doesn't hold on to the football.
The passing game was a problem for North Carolina in the first half, and they have averaged better than 280 yards a game throwing the ball, but just 55 to this point here. Thomas dumps it off to Johnson. Little screen action. Leon catapulted into the air by Leamon Evans.
Boy, running those screens. I was just about to compliment Mike on his patience, letting this thing develop. See, they have this thing set up. Very nice. You see the 1,001, 1,002 count up front. But the offensive line, Honeycomb trying to keep position on it. Evans stops it.
Carolina has yet to convert on a 3rd down. They are 0 for 4 today. Thomas on the roll, throwing back. Picked off by Brian Dawkins. Dawkins up the sidelines. He may be gone. Touchdown, Clemson. 48-yard return of the interception by Brian Dawkins.
I don't care who you are. You can be Drew Bledsoe in the NFL. Throwing across your body is tough. See, he never got set. Never got the feet set so he could throw the strike. Good read, good break. And in front of the home crowd, when you wearing all orange and you with Clemson, I don't think nobody's going to catch you.
3rd interception of the ball game for Clemson. 3rd interception of the season for Brian Dawkins, who was the defensive back of the week last week against Georgia Tech. Jeff Sauve's conversion is good, and Clemson now extends its lead to 14-0 early in the 2nd half.
You know, we talk so much about the quarterback position. Mike Thomas, again, has had the problem with the interceptions. Let's look from a fundamental standpoint. Throwing off the back foot, leaning back, throwing across your body, you are asking for trouble, and trouble is exactly what he picked up. Now, 5 completions of 11 attempts, 59 yards, and that's the telling stat, Jack. Corrigan, 3 interceptions.
15 interceptions on the season, and Brian Dawkins, the senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, returning at 48 yards for the touchdown to put Clemson up 14-0. Brian Dawkins and Patrick Sapp went to Raines High School in Jacksonville, Florida together. They're never having as much fun playing football as they are this season.
I enjoyed Sapp talking to you about this is the most fun he's had playing football. It says a lot.
Marcus Wall trying to return the kickoff, and he is shut down by Damon Ward, a freshman out of Wilson, North Carolina, inside the 10-yard line.
Now, you know he's loving that. Man, special teams, you can't win. You can't be good without him. And it's the commitment. See, he won't get juked. See, that's face mask to face mask, going up against one of the premier return guys in the country.
And unfortunately for the Tar Heels, because Marcus was able to jump out of that tackle momentarily, they reset his forward motion, and it's inside the 10 instead of out at about the 12 or 14. Thomas still in at quarterback as he hands it off to Leon Johnson. Some tough sledding out over the 10 to about the 12-yard line. It's such a dilemma for Mack Brown and his coaching staff. Mike Thomas, when he is right, can throw the ball as well as any quarterback in the conference. But when he struggles, he seems to struggle in a big way.
Well, there's a solution to that, and it means you got to bring a guy out in some cases, let him see it. Oscar Davenport, I found the best solution for a guy struggling is competition.
Thomas on the option to the short side of the field, keeps it himself over the 15, out to about the 17-yard line. Mon Wilson and Chris Jones stop him about a yard shy of the first down.
You know, it's not easy to play this game. It's very difficult, and especially at the quarterback spot. But as a senior, I mean, now you either are ready to do it or you are not. And there are a number of reasons. Not all interceptions are the quarterback's fault. But you got to be really the judgment in where you throw that ball, how you throw that football. Those are things you can control.
Crucial third down situation for the Tar Heels. They have yet to do it today successfully. They give it to the first man, and that will be a first down out to the 20-yard line. Maurice McGregor picking up the first down yardage for Carolina.
The other thing about this, Jack, is that Carolina only down 14 zip. That offensive line, and they can take charge of this. This is how you get back in the football game. You just go at people, right? I mean, chin pass, and go at them. That was great push by the Tar Heels.
11:20 to play here in the third quarter. Clemson with the interception, leading now by 14. Johnson, deep handoff, Bam out in front of him. And Leon gets 4 tough yards. Patrick Sapp on the stop at the 24-yard line.
Man, that's Sapp. Here's a guy who gets blocked. You know, you can judge great football players. They get blocked, and they still make the play. I mean, Babb and Honeycutt pulled and did that about as well as you can imagine. And then number 3, Patrick Sapp, stays off the block and makes a play.
We talked about it before the game, Doc. I mean, I don't think enough has been made of what a remarkable story Patrick Sapp is this season. Thomas, with time, finds his fullback, Maurice McGregor, out near the 30-yard line. Patrick Sapp again. I mean, not only to go from offense to defense, but to be a 2.5-year starter, really, at quarterback, be benched from that spot, and have enough athletic ability and maybe more importantly enough fortitude to come out and not only play but play well.
And see, because he didn't play defense, he didn't have defense in his background. No, he's a pure thoroughbred. I mean, that guy will be playing a lot on Sundays. I really believe that.
Thomas on the option. Leon Johnson is going to be close. Brian Dawkins on the hit, and Dawkins got the worst of it. He and Johnson are both slow to get up.
Yeah, there's a part of the uniform that they just don't have ample protection for. And every once in a while, you get caught. But I like the way he keeps his shoulders square. He'll hit you. He comes up, and you never know. You get kicked going down, but those orange shirts, there were a ton of orange shirts there.
Ryan Dawkins, who returned the interception 48 yards for a touchdown a few minutes ago, is the guy still down on the sidelines for the Tigers.
Remember that position. That's awful painful.
Leon Johnson got first down yardage out over the 30-yard line. Clock stops with 9:51 to play. Better than 75,000 on hand here at Memorial Stadium, Death Valley as it is better known. Next week, the Tar Heels will be back. Carolina with a first down at its own 30-yard line. This drive started back on their own 8. Desperate to put points on the board and get back into this one. Mike Thomas with time, but then deflected by Adrian Dingle. They are playing 3 true freshmen in this game. Adrian Dingle, Chris Jones, and Anthony Simmons in their linebacking core, and each one of them has made big plays.
But to come out of high school, and again, to catch on and to play this well, I mean, that's just fundamentally sound. You get blocked, you don't get to the quarterback, you elevate.
Freshman out of Holly Hill, South Carolina, with a large play there. 2nd and 10 for the Tar Heels. Thomas throws a little screen, and it's picked off. Dexter McLeon, did he catch it? No. They say short hopped it because Tony Planton right there, number 96, got a piece of the ball.
And it all started again, Adrian Dingle. Dingle has the ability to rush the quarterback. He had a great move coming up. See, look at this. Big guys going up trying to make athletic plays. Boy, Plant, if we were to catch that, that would have been a sight to see him rumbling and bumbling towards the sideline.
3rd and 10 for North Carolina. They have converted 2 third downs on this drive. They need another one. As Thomas rolls to his left. And down he goes. Mon Wilson with the sack. Clemson, the number 2 sack team in the conference behind North Carolina. Wilson, the sophomore, a little Tupelo honey out of Tupelo, Mississippi, comes up with a sweet play for the Tigers.
Mike Thomas in this play, I think, makes a good judgment call. If it's not there, you cannot afford to give up field position or another interception.
Thomas punts it away towards Antoine Wyatt, who makes the fair catch at his own 33-yard line. 8:38 to play in the 3rd quarter. Clemson up by 2 scores. With 8:38 to play here in the 3rd quarter, along with Mike Hogwood and Doc Walker, Jack Corrigan, glad you could join us. Nealon Green tosses it to Raymond Priester. Good block on the corner by Wyatt, and he gets it out over the 35-yard line where Omar Brown ran him out of bounds. Picked up about 4 on the play.
Staying with the option. And Green again shows a double threat. And you watch the outside block. See, that takes a lot. You go up against a linebacker. Here's Wyatt at 190 going up against Simmons at 230. And that takes not only guts, but it takes some skill. He was able to pull it off.
Well, Rick Stockstill, the co-offensive coordinator who coaches the wide receivers, spends plenty of time working on the blocking of his wideouts as Emery Smith goes north-south over the 40-yard line where Vonnie Holliday wrapped him up. He'll be about 3 yards shy of the 1st down.
Can't wait to watch St. Ignatius play so I can see the wide receivers. I just want to make sure those wide receivers, I want to see how they block. I want to see how they come out of those pass routes. You wait. I'm going to end up one Friday night on the sidelines.
Lamont Pegues comes into the ball game at tailback. Raymond Priester, as Tommy West told us, nursing a hamstring problem. Green gets it to Pegues on the sidelines, and what a pop from Kavusova-Mays. But it might not come in time for Carolina to stop the 1st down, and when they spot the ball, Robin Wood says 1st down, Clemson.
Mays will hit you. Great boy Holliday. He just controlled the line of scrimmage on that play. Doesn't get the credit for it, but there's a big hit by Mays. I mean, Kavusova-Mays, I mean, he brings it.
11 tackles today, and what does he have?
He's got a shin. He's got a...
No, what was the adjective I told you before? Popability?
Oh, yeah, popability. All right, let me write it down. Popability. Okay. That's a Corrigan popability. I liked it. I'm going to have to use it again.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. Green on the play fake. Mays coming after him, and he stepped around him, but can't get away from Brian Simmons. Good coverage downfield. They had really sent only 1 man deep, and there was excellent coverage downfield by Reggie Love on Joe Woods.
Yeah, Reggie made that one happen. Good decision by Green. I think both quarterbacks now showed that if it's not there, don't force it. A 14-zip game is nothing to gloat about. See, that's just great move there. You beat a good football player. Now you got to take your loss.
Lost about a yard or so on the play. They toss it to Priester on the cutback. Priester lunges forward out to about the 47-yard line where Mays is there again along with Sean Boyd.
And we haven't mentioned Emery Smith a lot today running the football, but watch him block. Going up against Simmons. See, that's a collision. See, that's big-time collision. Now, Simmons holds his ground, but Emery gets the job done. That's 2 good athletes going toe-to-toe.
Unofficially, Raymond Priester over 900 yards on the year now with 67 yards this afternoon. 3rd down and about 6 as Green rolls and fires to Wyatt for a 1st down inside the Carolina 45. Love and Lee are there, but Antoine Wyatt with another catch.
Jack, we talk about it so often in different sports when a player is in a particular zone. I think it would qualify now for Eli Green. I mean, he's just almost just so confident now, coming out, flicking it out. Not a great pass, but they're on the money, and Wyatt shows you why he's a special athlete. Makes a great catch, goes down and pulls it in.
6 catches on the day for Antoine Wyatt, and Clemson is 6 of 10 on 3rd down today. Green again to Wyatt for the double pass. No. Now he reverses his field and has a lot of blockers. Antoine Wyatt from a busted play to a 1st down. And a great effort by Fuzzy Lee, or that might have been a touchdown.
And Simmons, boy, Brian Simmons in his recovery, you're right, he saved it. Oh, it was to the house. You knew eventually this would happen. It's a natural progression off the flash pass and pass. Well, nowhere to go now. Watch the orange shirt. See, that's smart. Bunter in there with a nice block. And Simmons comes in and kind of disrupts that play, but to recognize that there was a change in the action and go out and attack people.
Season high 7 catches for Antoine Wyatt after 6 balls a week ago against Georgia Tech. Here's Emery Smith on the run. Smith still on his feet down near the Carolina 20-yard line. Brian Simmons slowed down the freight train from Pensacola.
Yeah, now see the crowd gets behind it. People like, he represents a brutal force of Clemson football. This is it now. When your big fullback starts to take charge of a game, see, that just puts confidence. He's running over people now. I mean, that's a wreck. I mean, that's a train wreck. This young man's a sophomore. It is scary. A junior make that. Emery Smith, stud.
1st and 10 just outside the North Carolina 20. They give it to Priester again. Smith with a huge block this time. Only a couple of yards on the play, but we have to replay the block on Brian Simmons by Emery Smith.
Oh my goodness, those two guys, they've met on a couple of occasions. Watch this. I've always said you block better if you get a couple of carries or a couple of catches. Watch 18 and 41, the collision and the takedown. See, that's, boy, that's nice. Although Simmons kept his feet in the action.
That was a cockroach party. On their back with the arms and legs dangling. Michael Allen checks in at tailback right now on 2nd and 7. And he'll get it on the speed option. Flag on the play. And a loss on the play. Marcus Jones scraping down the line of scrimmage with a good effort.
Yeah, Marcus at 300 pounds, and when you're that athletic and you can keep balance, you got it going.
Penalty against the Tigers. Let's see what North Carolina will do.
Yeah, this is the drive of the game. Coach Weston, he knows that. They score now. I mean, you're talking about a tough situation to overcome. Now watch 91 hit your screen, 71 make it. See, that's hard to pull off at his size.
On the offense, 5 yards, and repeat 2nd down.
Tito Simpson, the freshman, number 98, was also involved in breaking up that play. Only 1 penalty against North Carolina, but it was large.
Yeah, 7
it ruined
points.
A touchdown.
7-point penalty. Carolina now, they just have to swell up. They need a big play defensively.
Quick toss to Wyatt. He has blockers. Wyatt up the sidelines, down near the 1st down marker. He'll be a couple of yards shy, but it's a pickup of 10. Omar Brown knocked Antoine Wyatt out of bounds.
This might be because Priester has a hamstring pull. No matter why, all I know is that it is very effective. Number game has worked very, very nicely for Clemson. That time Billups, he slips and they make him pay.
Wyatt, the junior out of Daytona Beach, Florida, with more than 70 yards on the day in catches. Another big 3rd down play. Priester, 1st down. Priester to the 5. Sean Boyd and Russell Davis on the hit, but Raymond Priester, the sophomore elementary education major, picks up another Clemson 1st down.
Well, the marketing major, Emery Smith, puts another block on. That's E-Rock with the block. And when you can run free, a good athlete can run in a crowd. You give him some freedom, and it's going to be hard to deal with him. All you got to do is shake Emery's hand or grab his arm to know why he's called E-Rock.
North Carolina was giving up less than 98 yards a game on the ground. Priester has 80 right now himself, and more than 155 for the Clemson offense.
Also playing with that clock too. When you can get back on the ground and start running the football, you start ticking those time ticks off the clock, and it does nothing but enhance your chances to win.
4:14 to play here in the third quarter. Anything more than a field goal here really puts Carolina up against it. They have been outstanding in first and goal situations. That's what they have here. Green on the option to Michael Allen. Waffled at the 3-yard line. Kavusova Mays.
Man, I'm convinced Carolina doesn't have anybody on the field they won't knock you out. I mean, they have some pure hitters on defense. Mays in the middle of everything. Omar Brown comes up. I think he gets in on the gangbang. Watch this now. There's a toss. There you see good position outside. Brown with the hit. You got guys chasing over, flying to the ball. Ellis, he's there on the pound. I mean, they are competing. Tar Heels are playing hard, but they need a big play.
Third and goal at the 3. Anthony Downs is now in at the tailback spot. Green, play fake, in trouble, to the end zone, incomplete. Good disruption on the play by Rick Terry, the defensive tackle, the junior out of Lexington, North Carolina, forced Nealon Green to throw it away, and that may loom large if Carolina hopes to rally in this one.
Good call, Jack. Good call. Pringley comes up again. Here's another young man who's a youngster, a freshman, who has just been active. I mean, I think this, if the Tar Heels if they hold this just to 3, they got to pat on the back on this one.
Jeff Sauve from a tough angle boots it through. 3:20 to play here in the third quarter. On homecoming, Clemson extends its lead. Sauve's number tells it all. On homecoming, leading North Carolina 17-0. They have done it by being opportunistic on defense and by being relentless on offense. Jeff Sauve's field goal, his 12th of the season in 17 tries. We must make one statistical change for those of you who follow it along. The last 2 passes to Antoine Wyatt have been officially called laterals, so those are running plays for Antoine rather than pass receptions. You saw Marcus Wall awaiting the Sauve kick. Marcus will field it at his 5. Trying to come straight up the field, and is chopped down at the 25-yard line by Rudy Curry, a sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio, for the Clemson Tigers, number 81.
Did he play for you?
Played against us.
He did?
Good athlete, very good athlete. Oscar Davenport has come into the ball game at quarterback here with 3:12 to play in the third quarter. You see what he has done on the year. The redshirt freshman out of Osceola High School in St. Petersburg, Florida. He's a tough kid. Began his high school career as a fullback. Did not become a quarterback till he was a junior. On first down, he steps up and fires through the hands of Freddie Jones, who has really had a tough day. Mon Wilson on the coverage.
One thing about Davenport that impressed me in the limited time he's played, he has a rifle. Now here's a guy that can get it out to you. Sets up real well. See the setup, the little bounce in the step, ball is there. And right now Freddie's struggling.
And unfortunately for North Carolina, it has happened on 2 occasions on first down and puts them into those long yardage second and third down plays that have really been tough to accomplish much against this Clemson defense. And you can see what I'm talking about as Davenport is able to get just a couple on the option. Brian Dawkins on the hit.
Yeah, you got about as much chance of turning the corner on these Tigers, although we've watched people try it now the past 3 weeks, and I think you're going right at their strength. And you watch good offensive line play up front, and you got the cross blocks, and they start taking people off, and then look at the pursuit. And it ultimately is Orange Crush football. They get 5 guys at the point of attack quicker than you can shake a stick at.
2.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. North Carolina down by 17. Davenport steps up against the blitz and finds a receiver. Octavius Barnes for the first time this afternoon. And it's a first down for North Carolina out to the 42-yard line. Andy Ford on the stop.
Hard to imagine it took him that long to get the ball in the hands of Barnes, but again, watch this young man set up. See, in control, nice route, good pass, throw and catch. He didn't allow the receiver didn't have to stop to get the ball.
Octavius Barnes came in as the number 5 receiver in the conference, the first time he has caught a ball this afternoon. Davenport under pressure. Lunges back towards the line of scrimmage. Adrian Dingle is the guy on the hit. To Mike Hogwood.
Now, Andre McCoy, who tried to go on that bad ankle, is not going to be able to do it. He's been held out for the rest of the game. Brian Dawkins, however, went to the locker room, got some more equipment on, and is back out and on the field.
Tar Heels will face another 2nd and long situation here in the closing moments of the 3rd quarter. They really have to score on this possession to get back in this ball game. Blitz is on. Davenport steps up. Did he get it to Barnes? No. Octavius short hopped it. Tigers sent everybody that time, and it was Raymond White, the defensive end, who was the first man to make contact.
Yeah, he got in, but that Dingle, that Adrian Dingle, he's a pass rusher. Just call him specialist. So he choked that down. Barnes gave a good effort. But when you leave your feet as a receiver, that's why I like to see on the curl routes, bring it all the way back and meet the football. If you meet the football, you don't get those short hops.
Now we've got an injured player, and it's Davenport. And Robin Wood stepped into the huddle and made Davenport check out. Looks like he hurt his left knee or ankle. So Mike Thomas will come back into the ball game.
Well, Michael gets another shot as a senior. That's what you want to see. This kid Davenport has a crystal clear future. I mean, he's got some things, folks, that make you special. And I know he's disappointed.
Third and 11. 3 receivers set. Wall the man in motion. Just a 3-man rush, so Thomas has time. Throws it out to Watson, the fullback, and I believe he got the first down as Patrick Sapp ran him out of bounds. Chris Watson, his first official catch of the afternoon. He had a touchdown called back, only his 7th catch of the year.
250-pounder. See, Mike looks good, still moving, still with the jumpy feet, but he put the pass right where it needed to be.
Tell you what, that's a good decision by Daryl Moody, the offensive coordinator. You're having trouble with your tight end catching the ball. Take him out of the game, flex your fullback, and make him a tight end.
Good move. Good move.
Blitz on this time. Thomas steps up and can't make the completion as he is whacked down by Andre Carter, the strong safety who was blitzing on the play, and Raymond White was there as well to pressure Mike Thomas.
Yeah, you have to know now that if you're Clemson, man, you're going to bring an extra guy. You're going to get as disruptive as possible. You have enough cushion at 17 zip to take a chance defensively.
Watson checks out of the ball game. Maurice McGregor comes in, and he is the fullback flex to the right of Mike Thomas. Blitz again, picked up by the Tar Heels. They find a man over the middle. It's Octavius Barnes for another first down at the Clemson 35. Andy Ford on the stop for the Tigers.
See, I don't know where you stand on this, Jack, but I've never thought it was anything wrong with taking a quarterback out for a play or a series, let him get a chance to watch the game materialize and bring a guy back in.
Looks like a different player, doesn't he?
He does. He's calm now, and I always believe that competition is the best remedy for inconsistent play.
Octavius Barnes, who I think is crucial to Carolina's success, has caught 2 balls on this drive. Thomas going deep for Barnes. Broken up by Dexter McLean. The Clemson Tigers are thrilled. The Carolina bench going crazy. They thought McLean interfered.
It was close, but it was a nice pass again by Thomas. I don't understand why. You know, Mack is going down. The right tackle, he's going down late a lot. They're going to get caught on this. I mean, they ought to get this thing corrected. See, Mike is smooth as silk there. That's a great set throw. That really is. You know, you're right. He's a different quarterback.
Second and 10 at the Clemson 35. Closing seconds of the third quarter. Clemson leading 17-0. Tigers show blitz, and here they come. Picked up off the hands of Barnes and incomplete. Thomas had to throw it a little harder because of the pressure.
I thought it was tipped.
And Chris Watson is hurt on the play, so that will stop the action for the moment. Lets us tell you that the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited.
We've had some casualties in this game. The nature of the contact. This is a physical ball game. We knew it would happen after the first quarter. You knew, I mean, the body can only take so much. And there's been a lot of punishment in this game.
Well, Oscar Davenport was one of the guys shaken up in this game. We're going to get a report on his condition from Mike Hogwood.
I tell you, Jack, he is in a lot of pain. It's his left knee. They've got him on a bench laying on his back, and he is writhing in pain. And they don't know whether it's ligaments or exactly how bad it is, but it's pretty obvious that Oscar's done, at least for today.
So it'll be up to Mike Thomas if Carolina is to rally here in the closing quarter. There is 12 seconds to play here in period number 3. North Carolina has only punted the ball twice this afternoon. But for the
it's two ways of looking at that.
For the third week in a row, you know, you reach the point now, Doc, that you have to really credit this Clemson defense. This is our third straight telecast with the Tigers. They shut out Maryland, limited Georgia Tech to a field goal, and through 3 quarters here, minus 12 seconds, they have blanked North Carolina.
No, they're getting it done with great pursuit, super linebacker play. You know, and the secondary has not given up much. People don't have a chance to throw on them. They take that away. Sapp has been a big part of that overall scheme, but Dingle, Brett Williams has stepped up big. Anthony Simmons has been spectacular. Of course, to hit guys, the safeties, as you mentioned, out Evans and Dawkins. I mean, find the guy who's not playing well. That's probably easier.
And secondary has produced 3 interceptions today and 15 on the season. Third down, it's a 4-down time now for North Carolina against pressure. Thomas gets rid of it. Simmons had Linton covered. Carolina wants a penalty again, but that ball was not going to be caught by anybody.
Hey, you know, Brown, you can't blame Mack Brown. You got to go for it. You never know. We'll take another look at it again. Watch the footwork. Let's see if he's set. He never really set up real strong in there. People talk about happy feet and the quarterback ever being set. That was close. That's good coverage. Good coverage.
4th down. They need to get to the Clemson 25-yard line. 7 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Quick toss to Leon Johnson. 1st down and more. Great play call by Darrell Mooney all the way down to the 15-yard line on the final play of the third quarter.
Well, you see those little heels they put on the helmet? Mooney's picked up a couple of those for his hat. He got to put a few of those on his cap because that was a great call.
15 minutes for Mack Brown's Tar Heels to try and rally and for Clemson to hang on, leading by 17. Gutty called here by Carolina on 4th and 10 to close out the third quarter, keeping this drive alive.
Boy, you know, you look at Sapp there, he's engulfed up front by Babb, and you know, he got me on this one. I'm looking downfield. That was just a great call. Great recognition, good execution.
2 on the ground, 42 through the air. Jonathan Linton on 1st down, the fullback, for a couple of tough yards. Brett Williams there for Clemson. But with time a factor, Carolina knows at best they will get 2 more possessions after this, so they have to score every time they have the ball the rest of the way if they're to turn this one around.
Yeah, and I mean, you need the 7 pop. You want to get 7 in and not have to settle for 3.
Sapp showing blitz. Here he comes on the edge. Picked up for a moment. Tossed to the end zone and out of the end zone towards Marcus Wall. Patrick Sapp with the pressure. Brian Dawkins with the coverage.
It's just hard to imagine. This kid played quarterback and didn't play linebacker all his life.
Halftime in Raleigh. NC State trying to make it 2 wins in a row as they lead the Maryland Terrapins. The offense still struggling for Maryland. And how about that score at halftime? Jim Caldwell's Demon Deacons trying to get their first conference win.
Wake's been picking it up.
Mike Thomas 9 of 22 on the day. 3rd down. Flips it out in the flat. Leon Johnson got away from Anthony Simmons but stepped out of bounds shy of the 1st down. And with that tackle by Simmons, he ties the Clemson record for tackles by a first-year player, Ed McDaniel, with the old record of 104.
Yeah, McDaniel, NFL star. I mean, this is just a great effort by John. This guy is competing. You need 4 or 5 guys playing like that on either side of the ball to be successful.
Again, they will go for, no, they're going to try the field goal. Scott Caparelli is on. I thought for a moment they would go for it on 4th down. Caparelli's previous attempt was blocked. This one is through the uprights. And with 52 seconds gone in the 4th quarter, North Carolina is on the board, trailing by 14. And made it a fearful place to visit for the opposition. Scott Caparelli will kick it towards Andre Williams and Tony Horn. High short kick. Williams spun around and down at the 30-yard line. Kevin Addis with the hit. North Carolina gets on the board for the first time with a 68-yard drive. They now need their defense to rise up and get the ball back quickly. If Clemson is able to drive much at all, time becomes an increasing problem for North Carolina. And you know that's just what Tommy West wants his offense to do. Grind it out.
I guess number 18 is going to get the ball then.
Emery Smith, number 18, lined up in front of Raymond Priester. They give it to Priester. Huge hole. Priester out close to the 40-yard line before he's shoved back by the pursuit led by Brian Simmons. But I don't know if they caught him in a slant again, Doc, or what, but there was a giant hole.
Carolina's been leaning and doing a lot of slanting with their down linemen. This time the guys up front, Clemson just got to pick it up, stay on color. There's Simmons in with the blitz. Yeah, he did. They caught him in that. And there's Brown again. And Omar, he's a tough guy, but he's missed some tackles today. A little bit out of control on that play.
Priester gets it out to the 39-yard line for a 7-yard pickup. Lamont Pegues now in it tailback. They've used a lot of the 3 wide receiver set. And Robert Jackson jumps off sides. Nealon, you could see by what he was doing with looking up at the scoreboard clock, was running the huddle clock down and then tried to quick snap it, and Robert Jackson misjudged when he was going to say it.
On the offense. 5 yards, repeat the down.
Hey, for a sophomore, that's thinking. That is thinking.
Well schooled by Clyde Christensen, the quarterback's coach and co-offensive coordinator in his 2nd year here with Tommy West.
Christensen is a good one, good quarterback in his own right. Really helped get the ball up in there a lot for the Maryland Terrapins.
Instead of 2nd and short, it's 2nd and 8. Pegues runs into James Hamilton out to about the 37-yard line. Leave him 5 yards shy of a 1st down. Now the North Carolina defense coming into this game had a 71% success rate at stopping the opponents on 3rd down. today, it has not gone that way. Clemson has converted 7 of 12 third downs. So this is a giant step right here for North Carolina if they're to get back into the ball game. Green. Short hops Tony Horn because of great pressure by Greg Ellis. Rick Terry and Mike Pringley as well. And they do what they wanted to, Doc. They got the 3 and out.
Oh, Terry, strong guy, maybe one of the stronger Tar Heels. Been playing well. Could play a lot on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. And big play. Big series for the Heels.
Heels show 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Kick is away by McAnally. Wall looking up into the sun, fumbles it. Picks it back up on the 12, trying to get around the corner and still gets it back out to the 21-yard line. The fumble, unfortunately, probably cost them about 10 yards because he might have gotten it out to around the 30. Andre Carter with the stop. North Carolina drove down on its last possession and got the field goal. Now Mike Thomas is looking for 6. On first down, steps up and fires a rocket to Barnes. Octavius Barnes breaks a tackle. Barnes into Clemson territory at the 48-yard line. It took nearly 3 quarters to get Octavius Barnes into the game. He's there now, and believe it or not, Raymond White, a defensive end, made the tackle.
Man, Sapp almost got in. Patrick Sapp was just a shade away from a sack. Good up and inside move there on Linton. Now watch this. See, this is good recognition. Get some help. Not a lot of help, but Walls at least put his body there. Then you break a tackle. You got guys throwing downfield. L.C. Stevens, and that's what it takes.
Raymond White, a 255-pound sophomore defensive end, is the guy who ends up making the tackle here.
He never gives up. See, he just keeps going, and you just applaud young men like that. That's worth a double milkshake, just on effort alone.
3 catches for 61 yards in the second half for Octavius Barnes. They show blitz again, and they throw the quick toss to Leon Johnson. Johnson for a couple to the 46-yard line. Raymond White again with excellent pursuit to make the tackle.
Yeah.
On the previous play, excuse me, Doc, L.C. Stevens was hurt, but he is up and will be back, I would think, into action for North Carolina.
Yeah, good move on that. I was just talking a little bit about Babb out front and Honeycutt. You know, Jack, offensive linemen, they can't check up and look for color. They got to run through it because you got a guy twice as fast as you in back of you, and they lost a block on that play.
2nd and 7. Again, they show blitz. Here they come. Johnson fights through traffic down to the 40-yard line. Anthony Simmons with another hit. Leon Johnson nearing 100 yards on the afternoon. 88 unofficially.
Yeah. Representatives of the Peach Bowl here on site. You want to earn and play in the big time. Somebody's got to drop the level, get a good gut charge. And this is it. This guy here, number 12, Leon Johnson.
They give it to the fullback, Linton. And Jonathan will have the first down for Carolina at the Clemson 38-yard line. Stops the clock momentarily with 10:29 to play here in the 4th quarter. Clemson leading 17-3, but it has been North Carolina moving the ball over the last 5 minutes of game time.
If someone taking this game over since Oscar Davenport went out with injury, new life for Mike Thomas, and so far he's played like a senior ought to.
Clemson rolls everybody up close as Thomas rolls left. Has time, going downfield for Barnes, and incomplete. Barnes and Dexter McLean got tangled up. The 2 officials looked at each other and I think decided the ball was beyond the reach of Barnes. I don't think North Carolina feels that way, and Octavius is still down.
Not at all. As you watch this, I mean, going for the ball, you'd like to think inadvertent. I think it was 2 athletes going for it, but you watch. By here, could he or would he have had a chance at that football? And again, those guys have to make a split decision. They don't get instant replay.
No, they don't. And the other aspect of that contact sometimes, Doc, is the officials have to see who might have initiated the inadvertent contact. It might have been the feet of Barnes tangling with Dawkins. I mean, it's hard to say who did it, and sometimes the best call is no call at all.
And again, we get the benefit of instant replay. They didn't, and on the decision to make that call right there, I think it was a good call.
Exactly 10 minutes to play as Octavius Barnes will catch a breather on the sidelines. The sophomore from Wilson, North Carolina, sociology major. Runner-up for ACC Rookie of the Year last year. We might be looking at the ACC Rookie of the Year this year in Anthony Simmons, the middle linebacker for Clemson.
It's awfully close. Anthony Poindexter for the Cavaliers, who's really impressive.
Thomas, with time, dumps it again out to Johnson. He tries to run by Anthony Simmons, but couldn't do it as Simmons roadblocks him down at the 35-yard line. And it's Johnson who comes up hobbling. It'll be a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, but he's got the heart of a Spartan. There's no way he's going to not be in this football game.
He's got 6 receptions on the afternoon. He has also carried the ball 23 times, so 29 touches in the ball game already for Leon Johnson.
He just needs his teammates to kind of get on his level. Look at this, no interception since he got back in the ball game. 7 and 12. That's winning football.
Blitz is on. Thomas stands up and fires incomplete. Diving try by Octavius Barnes inside the 20, and he couldn't come up with it. It'll make it 4th down, and trailing by 14, you know Mack Brown is going to go for it.
Oh yeah, Williams and Dawkins again. See, the thing about Clemson, and I like what they're doing, man, they're going to make it as rough on you as possible. They're bringing everybody, and if you can hang in and take this, and you get a shot.
Miles Eldridge and Ellis Johnson, the co-defensive coordinators, sending everybody.
That ball was close.
They have to get to the 28-yard line. Thomas fires, complete. 1st down, Marcus Wall. Mike Thomas stood in there tall and found his fellow classmate, senior Marcus Wall, for the 1st down.
Oh, now I get it. They must have slipped him in at halftime. Somebody else in that uniform, that's his twin brother. He got rid of that guy in the 1st half. This guy here, now look at that. Picture perfect spiral, set in there. You want to pressure, catch, and throw, you just saw one.
9.5 minutes to play. 1st down, Carolina inside the Clemson 25. Thomas, delayed handoff. Leon Johnson inside the 15, close to another 1st down. Antoine Edwards on the stop. Puts Johnson just shy of 100 yards on the day, 98 unofficially.
And these two guys, this is a gutsy deal again. That offensive line, everybody's tired, but they're giving it their all.
Talking about gut check, a show of heart. Both teams trying to display it to the max here in the 4th quarter at Death Valley. Thomas on 2nd and short. Little swing pass to Barnes. Octavius has a 1st down at the 8-yard line. That little fold screen, pretty well defended by Clemson.
Well, that's what you want. I mean, you just want to have a shot. You're trying to get percentages. You're trying to get mismatches out on the edge. Get your skilled people out in space. But see, there's Simmons. Look at that. The guy does a splits and still tries to get back in on it.
Liam Evans credited with the tackle. 1st and goal for North Carolina. The last time they were here, they had a touchdown called back, and then eventually had a field goal blocked. Thomas busted play. Mike will keep it himself. Inside the 5, lunges down close to the 2. The senior from Hamlet, North Carolina, on a broken play, nearly got it into the end zone.
And it helped him. The fact that it was a broken play helped him. You talk about a key breaker, breaking reads. See, now if he would go now, he might have scored. He might have scored. It's still a good effort. Got to protect that football. Nice move.
2nd and goal, just outside the Clemson 2. In Carolina's last game, they stopped Wake Forest at the goal line. They don't want to be denied here by the Clemson defense. Jonathan Linton carries it close to the goal line, but not in.
He looks awful close. If he's not in, I want to see this spot.
Touchdown. One official said no, the other said touchdown, and Jonathan Linton is credited with the Carolina score.
Yeah, the big people up front made this one work. I mean, the Tigers were fighting, but see, they were too high. Orange shirts are too high. The white shirts are low, and you got a back that's determined. That's the score for the Heels.
Well, the discussion still goes on, and it is a touchdown. You could see from that angle, I think the official on this side watched the ball and didn't know if it crossed the plane. The official on the other goal line saw that the body was clearly in the end zone and ruled touchdown. Scott Caparelli on to try and make it a 7-point ball game with half the fourth quarter yet to play. The conversion is good, and now it's a 17-10 ball game. Mack Brown and Mike Thomas trying to rally the troops. This one is not over in Death Valley. A 10-point fourth quarter has gotten North Carolina right back into the ball game with nearly half of this final period yet to be played. Scott Caparelli will kick it off for Carolina. Clemson with Andre Williams and Tony Horn deep, coming towards Williams at his own 5. And he'll take it to the 20, and that's it, where he is wrapped up by Ronald Thomas, a junior out of Patterson, New Jersey. Carolina, after forcing a 3-and-out, drove 79 yards in 12 plays. Jonathan Linton with the touchdown run. They converted a couple of crucial 3rd and 4th down situations on the drive. And right now, Nealon Green has to rally his troops to try and run down some of that clock.
He's played well. He's just got to, at this point, not try to get it all in one play.
Last possession, it was the first 3-and-out of the ball game for the Tigers. Lamont Pegues, the tailback, with a good surge for about 8 yards before he is wrapped up by James Hamilton. Back to Mike Hogwood on the field.
Doc's talking a moment ago about Mike Thomas playing more like a senior. He's acting like a senior right now. He's been over on the sidelines. He's hit everybody on offense, walked up to him and said, hey, we're going to win this game. Hey, we're going to win this game. He's been a real leader over here, and he's got this team believing.
Well, he's got to hope his defense, Mike, can shut down Clemson. Good first down numbers for Lamont Pegues there, the 8-yard pickup.
Yeah, big block. Will Young had a monster block.
They give it to Smith. Emery stacked up, and where they have spotted it, he crossed the 30-yard line and picked up the first down. James Hamilton is there again for the Tar Heels.
Hamilton, just about everybody else. Kavusuma Mays still limping. I mean, a lot like Johnson, just playing off sheer guts. Here you see a 2 linebacker stack. And you see, like, look at the Roundtree crawling, trying to get a block. See, this is what this game is all about. Trying to do anything it takes to get to a big bowl game. I just love to see the effort. Both sides really just giving a tremendous effort.
Clemson trying to go to 6-3 on the year, 5-2 in conference play. Carolina trying to go to 5-3 on the year in the start of a huge 4-game stretch. Pegues whacked by Mays after a pickup of just a couple.
The give to Pegues for a gain of 2 yards on the
Big
play.
Dwayne Morgan had a nice block on that. I mean, Roundtree, Morgan, Putman going up against that Tar Heel group.
Look at that score. Maryland with a couple of third-quarter touchdowns, their first touchdowns in over 3 weeks to have the lead at Raleigh. And Georgia Tech, down at one point, has rallied to take the lead against Wake Forest. So everything is tight in the ACC here today. Quick toss. Antoine Wyatt slips a tackle and another. But there are too many white-shirted Carolina defenders there, and it'll be a 3rd and long for Clemson.
Man, isn't it amazing what points will do for a defense? And these guys now are playing on a higher plane, a new spirit, flying out to the football. Clemson had a lot of success with this play. See, a missed tackle ought to mean at least 5 yards. Not when you got guys swarming to the ball like that. I mean, that's a lot of blue and white shirt.
3rd down and 6. Clemson 7 of 13 on 3rd down this afternoon. The one-back set behind Nealon Green. The option, busted play, and Green goes down. Green went left, and Pegues went right. Greg Ellis is there, and the Tigers will have to kick it away again.
And his offensive line went right. And it looked like Glenn Roundtree, Morgan, these guys thought it was coming onside. We've had this happen now twice. Well, quarterbacks have either gone the wrong way or the backs have gone the wrong way. In any respect, this is not the time to break down fundamentally.
And with 4:50 to play and the clock moving, North Carolina decides to use the first of its timeouts to stop the clock as Chris McAnally gets a high but short kick away. Marcus Wall watches it bounce, and it takes a North Carolina bounce down at the 37-yard line. 63 yards to perhaps a tying or winning score for North Carolina with 4:40 to play. 17-10 Clemson. North Carolina at the Carolina 37-yard line with 4:40 to play. Mike Thomas struggled to start the ball game at 6 for 14. This is what he has done since then. He'll throw it on first down with time. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Adrian Dingle. Tony DeSue was also in the neighborhood.
Boy, when they look at these films, Brian Dawkins has had an all-star performance, but Adrian Dingle, he might end up grading out as high as anybody on that Tiger defense. Look at him there. He's smart enough to grab the back, try to slow him up coming through, then get up and block that pass. And this kid's a freshman. My goodness.
Thomas again to throw on second down. Has time. Dumps it over the middle. It is caught by Leon Johnson for a pickup of about 4 on the play. Anthony Simmons there to cover him. Good downfield coverage by the Tigers, who right now will go to their dime package with 6 defensive backs. Johnson with his 7th catch of the day.
The Tigers need a big play on defense now. They got to move reverse roads.
Broken up. Anthony Simmons again. Octavius Barnes was open at the first down marker, but Simmons broke it up. He is 205 pounds, playing middle linebacker as a true freshman in one of the better conferences in the country.
Yeah, his heart must weigh about 150 pounds, though.
He's got 15 tackles on the day. And North Carolina will punt the ball away with time still enough on the clock. If your defense can hold, they don't want to give up the field position.
Can't afford to. Field goal now kills them if Clemson were to score.
Mike Thomas boots it away. There was nobody deep. Down to the 25-yard line of the Tigers with 3:52 to play. Calculated risk by Mack Brown, but I think the correct choice.
And he's got time. You know, when you go to the yard marker, you threw right into the teeth of the defense. There was 3-on-1 in that. You like to go back to when he ran that little screen play to Johnson early on, but give Clemson some credit, man. They've been playing this thing well defensively, and it was their turn to come up with a big play.
Now it's their turn for their offense to come up with at least 2 first downs.
Yeah, nobody to blame for this one. No excuse football. You get it or you give it up.
Lamont Pegues is the tailback. He gets the call and gets hammered after a gain of just a couple. Kavusa Vamaze is there again, along with Rick Terry. Mays slow to get up. Mays and Simmons, the 2 middle linebackers, have been incredible this afternoon.
Yeah, I just hope Kavusma doesn't have any 8 o'clock classes on Monday, because he's going to have a hard time getting there. I mean, this guy, he's in a tremendous amount of pain. He's just playing right now off guts and adrenaline.
3 wide receivers to Green's left. Pegues the lone setback. Green on the option will go right into the arms of Greg Ellis, who tries to rip the football away. And it'll be a 3rd down and long. North Carolina takes time, and the Tiger faithful a little concerned about the conservatism on offense. But they don't want to make the big mistake that will cost you possession of the ball.
The way their defense is playing, that they'll be okay. It's just that you can sense now. We watched them against Georgia Tech, and they were able to run the football. And Tech, at the time, you know, was one of the top-rated defenses in the country. Carolina has shown that, you know, there's not a lot of things you can do against them if they make up their mind that they don't want you to.
North Carolina came in allowing just 229 yards in total defense. They have given up much more than that against Clemson here this afternoon, but very little since falling behind 17-0. Now, again, granted that Clemson wanted to get a little more conservative to be safe, but at the same time, that North Carolina group, Doc, had to dig down and find some inner resource to to give their team a chance to win, and to their credit, they've done it.
No, inner resource, a fancy word for guts, but I like it, and I can use that as well. I'll get that with you, know. You know, but a lot of times people, you know, across the country have, this year in particular, you know, have questioned Carolina, the fact that they have so much talent and sometimes don't always play at that level, but don't ever question their guts or their courage, because they have played. They're here at Death Valley. They have won here in 6 shots, and they're here now going toe-to-toe with a Clemson club that is red hot.
Clemson has lost only 1 game on homecoming since 1970. They're 22-1-2 on homecoming. Clemson has had the ball only 24 plays in the second half. Quick little toss to Pegues. Pegues looking for running room, but he's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Ball popped loose, but it had been blown dead, and they will be short of the first down, and they'll have to kick it away. Rick Terry with the stop on Pegues at the 35-yard line. Clock moving with 2:40 to play. See the body language on Tommy West right there. For one of 2 more yards, a yard and a half maybe, they could have put this one away. Instead, North Carolina uses its last timeout to stop the clock with 2:41 left. With that much time, Doc, and the ability to stop the clock in a variety of ways, that is more than enough time for the Tar Heels. And maybe their best weapon of all will be, I would think, show the block on to keep the Clemson punt unit in close, and hope that Marcus Wall, one of the best kick returners in college football, can break loose with another one.
Yeah, you got to fake the block, because if they could get into a return with a guy like Marcus, it would definitely be to their advantage. We still got a packed house. I mean, no one has walked out of Death Valley. I mean, this game is still pretty much in question, although you have to like Clemson's shot right now, being up by 7, 2:41 on the clock. But momentum has definitely decided to change sidelines.
Chris McAnally will punt it away. They show block. McAnally hammers it. Wow. 65-yard punt by Chris McAnally. North Carolina will have to go 80 yards if they want to pull this one out. What a kick by the senior from Troy, Michigan.
Special teams. We saw it in the Florida State-Virginia game, and how they're punting both sides really had a big influence on the outcome of that ball game.
That was the longest kick of the season and the career of Chris McAnally, and it came at the biggest moment in his Clemson career. Crowd rising to its feet here in Death Valley as Mike Thomas goes back to pass on first down. Going deep downfield. Intercepted. Dexter McCleon with the interception. And the Clemson Tigers come up with their 4th pickoff of the day.
Well, you can see the disappointment on the face of Mack Brown, but there's only one way to throw a deep pass. And you hear it so much that you may not like to hear it, but it's down and outside and away. Good coverage. That's just excellent coverage when a quarterback can slow a receiver up and not really engage in him, and keep looking back at the football. That ball's got to be out and over the outside shoulder. Either the receiver gets it or nobody gets it.
4th interception of the day, 2nd of the season for Dexter McLean. And the key part of that interception, as Doc Walker told you, the ability to slow down the wide receiver and in effect become the receiver yourself.
He did. That was nice.
They give it to Raymond Priester straight ahead for only a yard.
I mean, they may get the football back yet again, but the point being is that the receivers too got to take some responsibility. Man, you got to do whatever you can to avoid a deep ball being picked off.
Yeah, you take the interference call.
Take anything.
Yep.
You know, you kick the guy, you get thrown out of the game if you have to. You do anything but let a guy catch a pass like that.
What an effort by that man, Kabusa-Vamaze.
Yeah, just
as Doc said, they have to get a first down to avoid giving the ball back to North Carolina. They toss it to Priester. And he gets a couple out to the 39-yard line. He'll be 5 yards shy. 90 seconds to play in the game. Hamilton and Mays there again. Waiting for Robin Wood to mark the ball and play, and he does right now with 1:22 to play, meaning they'll have to snap it with 57 seconds left. And then would have to do something on 4th down, probably take the delay of game penalty and then punt it away. But without a first down, they cannot run away with the rest of the clock.
I sure like to see these two teams play a best-of-5 series.
Isn't that the truth? 3rd and a long 4. They give it to Priester, and he'll be shy of the first down. 50 seconds with the clock running. Kabusa-Vamaze for about the 455th time this afternoon in on a hit, or it seems that way anyhow.
Just call that Tar Heel defense Mays and company.
They can run it down inside of 20 seconds before they would get the delay of game call. Right now, the 17 seconds, and you can see Nealon Green will wait until there is 1 second on the huddle clock as he stands alongside of Robin Wood, and then we'll call the timeout. 4, 3, 2, and it's right there with 1 second left on the huddle clock. 65-yarder his last punt. If he does anything close to that again. Carolina puts pressure on, and it's another dandy. Wall at his 10. Trying to get to the wall, and he can't do it. Run out of bounds by Andre Carter with 6 seconds to play. And all North Carolina can do is hope for a miracle of biblical proportions here on this, what will probably be the final play of the game. If not, it'll be 7 straight losses here in Death Valley to Clemson, and 9 of their last 10 meetings overall.
The Tigers, I mean, a rare win for them at home this year.
Only their 2nd home win if they hang on. Mike Thomas will roll to his left, set his feet and throw it as far as he can into a crowd. It is caught by Octavius Barnes and then pulled out of his hands by Peter Ford, and that will do it. The Clemson Tigers win their 4th in a row and go to 5-3 on the season in a heart-stopping 17-10 triumph over the North Carolina Tar Heels.
And I still love to see the best out of 5 series in this one. This was pure football.
Clemson staying strong again on homecoming as they win for the 23rd time since 1970. Tommy West is with our Mike Hogwood.
And he's holding his son, who's awfully proud of what Dad's done today. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I tell you what, I don't know what the world's record is for holding your breath, but I believe I broke it.
Your defensive backs come up with 4 picks today. One of them they returned for a touchdown. They played awesome.
They did. Our kids play hard. I thought our coaches had a great plan. Our assistant coaches do a great job. You know, this is great.
And well, you're on a roll now. You won a game at home. How about that?
We're thankful for everything we've got.